Hello and welcome to this lesson about proportionality. The learning target for this video is determining proportionality from a graph, table, or equation. Now, to help me explain what proportionality is, I have a question for you. Consider this. How many quarters for blank dollars? And so what we're just going to do is we're going to work through several different variations of this, where we're just going to keep increasing however many dollars we're looking at here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a table. Let's say we have dollars and we have quarters. Let me make a better line there. That was a bad line. Okay. Much better. So let's say we had $1. How many quarters would we need? 4. What if we had $2? Then how many quarters would we need? 8. What about $3? 12. $4. 16. What if we jumped the gun and we went to $13? How many quarters would we then need? Is there something we can do, a pattern we can pick up from going from here to here or here to there or any of that that could help us with it? And the thing is, there is a pattern. We need to multiply however many dollars we have by 4. And if you take a look at it, this is, if you times by 4, boom, you get these numbers right here, just times by 4. So 13 times 4, oops, no, not 42, 52. So you would need 52 quarters. And that's proportionality. Noticing a constant change from one thing to the next thing. And so what we're going to do is explore some of what that means in more detail and what this means for what you'll have to do with all this stuff. So proportionality, a good way to sort of define it is it's just rates or ratios on a graph, table, or equation. What we're doing is we're formalizing this thing right here, where we're just, how is there a way we can, talk about this as a table if we were to graph it on a coordinate plane or write an equation? That's what proportionality is. So we've already made the table. Let's just do it again. So we have dollars and we have quarters, and we'll just do a few of them. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 dollars, and then 4, 8, 12, and 16 quarters. So this is a proportional relationship in a table, and what we're going to have to do is be able to now look at a table and determine if it is proportional or not. And I'll explain how to do that in a minute. We then have a graph, and so if we were to graph this and make this, say, our x and this our y, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then let's say we have 4, 8, 12, 16, 4, 8, 12, 16, 1, 2, 3, 4. We would have a graph that looks roughly like that. And finally, an equation where we say quarters is equal to 4 times however much dollars we have. And so there are a couple of things I want to talk about with proportionality. And that's some properties. Specifically, let's talk about the graph. Every proportional graph is going to look something like this, where it's going to be one of these lines, but notice where they all start. They all go through the center, or a more specific term would be the origin. So if you're ever looking at a graph and you're asked, is it proportional or not? This is what you have to do. You have to look at this. Next, you want to make sure you have a straight line. If you have a straight line, that means that you have a constant change. The change is the same from wherever you are on the x and the y axis. And so this helps you determine if something is proportional by the graph. First, make sure it's going through the origin, and then make sure it is a straight line. And so some quick examples. This is proportional. This is not proportional because look how it's going up way up there. And then another not example would be something like that. It does not have a constant change. It changes from here to here. It's a little bit different from there and there. And so that's why it's not a constant, or it's not constant change, and it's not a proportional relationship. And now let's go to tables. So a lot of our tables can be broken down into an X and a Y. And we'll talk more about what X and Y mean in a little bit, or later. But what we have to know is there's a relationship between X and Y. And so let's just say this is the X and Y values we are given. We can determine that it's proportional if all the Y over X's equal each other. And so you just take all those Y at X points and they should form the same fraction. And if we take a look at this one, we'll have 5 over 1. And then we're going to use my favorite made-up math symbol, the equation with the equal sign, 10 over 2. Equation with the equal sign, 15 over 3. Equation with the equal sign, if we were to continue this table, 60 over 12. And the thing is, yes, all of these check out. They all boil down to just 5. And so that's how you can determine if a table is proportional. Is that it's going to have there's going to be a constant change from each one of these columns. And so that gets us to a fancy phrase, which is the constant of proportionality. Now here's what's going to get confusing. The constant of proportionality is K. I know, C, K. It's weird. Deal with it though. K, and then it's going to be equal to Y over X. And so what we need to be able to do is find that constant of proportionality. And so if I give you a table maybe in a different look, and I say, I don't know, 2, 4, 6, 8, and then 12, 24, 36, and 48. Let's make that 36 a little better. And you need to find K. What we do is Y over X. So take any of these Y values, especially if you're told it's proportional, and just go Y over X. And then K equals 6. And that's it. So that's how you do it with a table. Now, if you have a graph, we have to rely on, you do the same mechanism, but you have to find a point. And so let's just say that this point is 3, and this is 39. Well, that means that the point here is 3, 39. This is an X, this is a Y. To find K, you do the same thing. Y over X, so 39 over 3, which equals 13. And so that's something you're going to be asked to do, is find the constant of proportionality, or to apply the constant of proportionality. And so you could also use this. So let's say we have Y is equal to 4X, essentially our quarter thing. Well, and you need to plot some, and you need to actually graph this out. Well, what you could do is make an XY table, X, Y, and plot out a couple of points. So 4, and then 8. Since it's proportional, it's always going to start here, and so go 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. There you go, there's 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, 8. Connect those lines, or those dots, and draw an arrow through it. And now we've come up with the graph for a proportional relationship by using the constant of proportionality, which in this case is 4, and then we made a little table really quickly. Put in 1 and 2 for X, found out what Y has to be by plugging in X, those X values there, and then we go here and we plot them. 1, 4, 2, 8. And so that's pretty much everything about proportionality in a nutshell. Good luck with your practice and homework, and let me know if you have any questions.